Hi, my name is Zach, and I live with OCD. Welcome to the guided exposure meditation. First, let me congratulate you for choosing to face your fears today. As an OCDer myself, I know how much courage it takes to decide to sit with uncomfortable thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations. And I want you to know that your willingness to do this today is truly brave, and I'm very proud of you. Now, in today's guided exposure meditation, we're going to be working together. I'm going to be walking with you side by side to intentionally pull up thoughts, feelings, images, urges, and sensations that make you feel uncomfortable. And when we do this, we are going to be intentionally increasing your anxiety levels and potentially bringing on other uncomfortable feelings like guilt or shame. And through this process, we're going to sit with these uncomfortable feelings, bodily sensations, and thoughts for about 10 minutes. Now, while there are other meditations inside of this app that are designed to be more relaxing, this guided exposure meditation is not meant to be that way. The goal will actually be to push ourselves outside of our comfort zones. So please plan to feel uncomfortable during this guided exposure. That is the goal. And over time, through repeated exposures, our hope is to teach your brain to fear less and less whatever subtype you're currently struggling with. As a friendly reminder, exposure work does take time, so please be patient with yourself in this process. It's not going to happen overnight, and our goal is not to be perfect. But seriously, just showing up like you did today is more than enough. And I promise you, I will be with you every step of the way through this guided exposure meditation. So with that being said, let's begin by having you find a comfortable seated position, or you can lie down if you'd like. Let's make sure that you're in an environment with no distractions that also feels safe to you. Now let's go ahead and gently have you close your eyes. And we'll start by taking a few deep breaths in through the nose, feeling the air fill your lungs, and exhale slowly through your mouth, releasing any tension or stress with each breath. So let's go ahead and give you a moment to take a few deep breaths in and out. Now let's go ahead and bring the attention to your body, and we're going to do a quick body scan. So let's just start at the top of the head and gently, slowly, and imperfectly, no right or wrong way to do this, gently scan down towards the toes, just building up a picture of the body. Now at this point, you might be already experiencing some thoughts, and that is completely fine. Or maybe it's bodily sensations, and that's okay too. Real quickly, I just want you to bring your awareness back to your breath, noticing the sensation of air flowing in and out of your body. And now, we're going to begin our 10-minute guided exposure. So I want you to begin to bring to mind a situation or scenario that triggers feelings of fear, anxiety, or any other uncomfortable emotion for you. So this could be a specific object, an image, a situation, a scenario, a word, or a thought that you find challenging to confront. I'm going to give you a second to do this. As you hold this image or thought in your mind, notice any physical sensations or emotions that are arising, and allow yourself to fully experience these feelings without resistance. So we're not pushing them away. I know that they're uncomfortable. Thoughts and feelings are uncomfortable, and that's okay. We're allowing them to sit there. So just continuing to visualize the image, the thought, the scenario, the urge, whatever it might be. So I'm right here with you as you just continue to visualize this image or scenario. And remember that the goal here is to feel uncomfortable. So if that's how you're feeling right now, that's great. It's also okay if the image or word is a little blurry in your mind right now. It's also perfectly fine if your brain naturally wants to do a mental compulsion. That's okay. We're not going to break this habit overnight. But in this moment, just gently notice your brain maybe trying to find an answer or trying to find some immediate relief. That's okay. It's normal. And just attempt, keyword attempt, don't have to do it perfectly, to bring your attention back to the exposure. So you're just continuing to sit in the discomfort. And it's okay if you're noticing the question bubbling up, if you're doing this right or wrong, right? You might be thinking, am I even doing this right? How do I even know if this is working? This is a simple little trick that OCD likes to play on us OCDers to get us to stop doing our exposures and pull us back into the cycle. So just treat it like any other thought. There's nothing to do with it. In this moment, we're just sitting with whatever we're experiencing, and that is more than enough for today. So just continuing to sit in the exposure. So if you're feeling fear or guilt or shame or sadness right now, remember that is the goal. We're just intentionally bubbling back up whatever thought or image we fear to teach our brains it's okay to experience them. And if you've gotten distracted, that is completely normal. The brain tends to wander. It is a natural function of our minds. Just gently bring your attention back to the exposure. We're just continuing to sit in the fear and discomfort. Remember, I am here with you, and you are capable of facing your fears right now in this moment and overcoming anything that stands in your way. You are capable of that. And now, just for a moment, letting go of that focus on the exposure and allowing the mind to do whatever it wants to do. So if it wants to ruminate, let it ruminate. If it wants to think, let it think. If it wants to wander, let it wander. Letting it do whatever it wants to do. Now let's go ahead and gently bring our attention back to the body, starting to notice the weight of the body, contact between the body and the chair, the floor beneath you, feeling the feet on the floor, the hands and the arms on the legs, feeling a sense of pride maybe for having taken this opportunity to confront your fears and grow from this experience. Even if the brain is telling you, did you do this right? How do we know? Trust me, just showing up was more than enough. And when you feel ready, gently opening your eyes again. So let's go ahead and take a moment here before you move on with your day. If you're done, you can pause this and move on. If you'd like, you could also have a stretch and sit back in the chair. How does it feel to have taken some time out of your day to sit with your fear? I'll note that it's completely okay if you didn't enjoy that experience. In fact, that is completely normal, and that is what I would expect from an exercise like this. If you did enjoy the experience, that's great too. So don't worry if there's still lots of thoughts or feelings running around. That's perfectly normal. It's completely okay too if you're still experiencing lots of resistance or fear. That is the whole point of exposure work, and it is a big part of the recovery journey with OCD. To face our fears, teach ourselves that we don't need to compulse to keep ourselves safe, and we don't need to have an answer necessarily. And over time, teach our brains not to fear these thoughts or sensations. Of course, though, this is a skill that we're building, and it takes a little bit of time and consistency. So please be gentle with yourself as you go on this journey. This is not about perfection. This is also not about obsessively tracking our progress either, right? So this exposure exercise is all about sitting with your brain and over time, teaching it to create a little more space and a little less resistance between you and OCD. Just know that, of course, this guided exposure is available for you to use as many times as you'd like. So please feel free to revisit it as needed. For now, be proud of yourself, and I look forward to speaking with you in future guided exposures.